So my mom and I drove the 6 hours from Birmingham to Savannah to visit my oldest brother and his family. When I was younger, we would have reunions with my mom's side of the family in the summers in a different part of Georgia. And so when I got out of the car in Savannah and the smell of fresh rain hit my nostrils, it felt like I was a kid again, biking through the wooded trails of Callaway Gardens. My brother's family has lived in Savannah for a number of years, and because I've been living in Albania, I hadn't had a chance to visit them. So naturally, one of the first things we did was to spend some time walking around the city, wandering up and down brick roads shaded by enormous live oaks dripping with Spanish moss. We walked through a farmer's market filled with people selling all kinds of food and drinks, and art students selling some of their creations.
Yeah. Choose your price. Give me a topic, I'll write you a poem.
And after eating our lunch on a bench near the car, we swung back by the house to drop off my two nephews and pick up my younger niece, and a few of us headed to a pier to do some fishing while the sun sank into the distance. It is low tide, huh? What about having a puppy that doesn't bite people? Would that be better?
Would it have to be a different puppy?
Probably.
We're gonna catch that. You might want to watch out.
I'm taking it back to the car.
She's so worried about it.
Stop being too crazy. Right, look at the camera. On the shrimp.
Is it alive?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's alive.
It's moving its legs.
Oh yeah, no, it is. Frankie's. He's gonna run to that dock, it looks like. But of course, we couldn't leave before throwing some rocks into the mud. Ew, it goes everywhere. That one was great. I usually use clips that are a couple seconds long, so it probably doesn't matter.
Beat my dad.
And the next day, we took advantage of the cloudless skies and headed to the beach. Being January, we weren't going to swim, but the sun was out and the air was fresh, so we went for a long walk along the water. Looking into the trash can. Miss Frankenstein Leithart, wait for us.
Wait.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Oh, you're just walking around. I thought that was something. I got my just look for nothing. The wind whipped around us, making it hard to hear each other, and sometimes difficult to walk. But it also churned up the sand in a way that made the vastness of the beach look like an alien planet. Right. One of the other things that I've been doing is really trying to make sure I'm reconnecting with people. Despite still having to continue my day-to-day work, my time in the U.S. has been filled with visiting family, but more specifically, spending time in their lives, eating meals, watching sports or movies, and spending time just talking and being together. Because when I live so far away from everyone, that's the thing I miss the most. You're in the kitchen? Oh my goodness. Wait, go into the light. It's a Starburst hot dog. I wonder how it tastes. That looks so good, actually. And then I drove with my mom back to Birmingham, ate a quick lunch, and jumped back into the car for a whirlwind overnight trip to Nashville, Tennessee. A few people had all sent me messages and said, if you happen to be in Nashville, stop by. And I figured that it was enough people that I would purposely happen to be in Nashville. So I dropped off a guitar to one, had dinner with another, and then went and stayed with a friend from high school that I hadn't seen in over a decade. He lives in Nashville with his wife and kids, and they very graciously offered for me to stay in their Airbnb apartment. next morning, before the final lengthy leg of driving in the U.S., I went to breakfast with my friend and we talked about the old times and the future, marveling about where we had come from and where we were now, before saying our goodbyes and hoping to meet again before 10 more years pass. And I headed back to Birmingham for the final few days of my time in the United States. A few more days that I could focus, iron out all the kinks in my apparel brand, and spend a bit of time with family before it was time to make the long trek back home to Albania. Another of my brothers was taking his kids out for an afternoon, so I met them at a playground. It was actually a place that sells playgrounds, but they set up some of the examples in their lot and allow people to come and test them, or just play. Somehow I messed up the settings on my phone camera, and I've recorded most of this day without any audio. And while that is super frustrating, it did teach me to double check all my settings before filming anything with my phone. And after the kids had their fill of playgrounds, we went to my brother's where he helped me take some photos for the website of my apparel store, which will be launching soon, and if you want to be notified when it happens, sign up for my newsletter, which is linked in the description below the video. After a quick dinner with my brother's family, I left to meet my dad at yet another basketball game, still with my camera recording no audio. And the most frustrating part was that the game was really good, and I wasn't able to capture any of the sounds of the crowd. So I scoured Twitter and Instagram and found some audio from the game, and pieced them together to try and give you the feeling of how it was to be there, or as close as I could possibly get.
2 seconds left, trip for the tie, it's good! 7, 6,
It wouldn't be a trip back to Alabama for me without tackling some sort of outdoor project. The kind of things that I hope to maybe be able to do around my own place someday, because it's something you can see the journey and admire the progress, like building a fire pit, planting jasmine by the pool, or setting up a decorative fence. And my mom had mentioned a bit ago that she was worried about a particular tree out in the yard, and it might fall over. So that was on the agenda that morning.
Do you have a technique for this? Your shirt just says yard work on it.
For a long time. And I went out there, I was going to cut it down, and I realized that I could just push it over, and it just...
I mean, that one looks like it might be able to be pushed over. It's hard to tell, though.
You give it a try.
What the... There it is. Whoa, wrong way. There we are.
I thought about getting Mama to help me with it, but then I figured since you were here.
I don't know, it kind of gives, but that might just be the...
Yeah, there's some branches up there. Doing something up there, but I don't know what. Is it big enough to run into the stuff over there, though? Yeah.
So my dad and I sawed away at that old rotten tree until it was weak enough to just shove over.
You get it? There it goes. Victory!
The core was still...
Yeah.
That's what you had to get through. You got through that.
And another niece and nephew came to visit. We mostly wrestled and played with toy cars, but we also spent some time outside and walking under the trees and through the puddles.
You dropped it. Oh. Here comes your mom. I'm gonna go this way, bud. I'm going this way. What are you doing? No, the trees are above us. Ava. You see the trees up there? With all the light on them? Okay.
And the rest of my time in Birmingham was spent just enjoying myself, eating good dinners and spending time with my family.
It doesn't make sense to me either. That was, someone made me do that at one time. My senior year. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
I just got this one-person backpacking tent. I feel like my issue, tents.
Is it kind of a documentary type movie?
No.
It's not, but it turns into, it has documentary kind of feel to it.
I went to a movie with my dad and some of his friends, and a line in the movie really stood out to me. You don't escape trauma by ignoring it, you escape trauma by confronting it. And it made me realize that this is what most of my trip to the United States has been. Not always with things that I would consider trauma, but that was definitely part of it. Our experiences make up the people that we are, whether those experiences are positive or they're negative. And while I've had a great many positive experiences in my life, there have been many negative ones as well. So I had spent the last 6 weeks revisiting places and memories from my past in a conscious effort to heal from the bad and really, truly appreciate the good. Trying to learn how to deal with that and move through it. Not away from it, but through it. I'm done running from my past, and I'm ready to run towards my future. And I can't wait to see what it holds. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.